Good morning, students. Today we are going to discuss the principles of sampling. As we can see on the screen, the principles of sampling are two in number. That is principle of statistical regularity and principle of inertia of large number. Now this is a very important topic which you have to be very precise and attentive while listening to these principles. So these laws are based on the theory of probability, and probability we all know is a numerical measure of the possibility of occurrence or non-occurrence of an event. So first we discuss about the principle of statistical regularity, that what does this principle denote? What is the meaning of this principle? This principle lays down that a moderately large number of items chosen at random from a large group are almost sure on an average to possess the characteristics of the large number. That means we say, this principle says that if a random sample of adequate size is selected from a large population, it tends to possess the same characteristic as those of the population. Like for example, if I say, if out of a population of 120 crores people, a random sample of 500 persons is taken to estimate the average height in population. So then according to this law, average height is likely to come out to be approximately equal to the average of the heights of the entire population. So this is what the law of statistical regularity mentions. The next principle we talk about is the principle of inertia of large numbers. This is a principle which is corollary of the above one. It states that other things being equal, larger the size of sample, more accurate the results are likely to be. Like when we say, the aggregates or average obtained from a large group are more stable than the aggregate or averages obtained from the small group. So this is what the second principle tells us all about, that if you obtain the aggregate or average from a large group, a larger group are more stable than the aggregate or averages obtained from the smaller group. That means the larger the size of sample, the more accurate the results are to be. So we can cite one example here saying that production of mangoes in one district might show great variations year after year, but the production figures of the entire country would not much vary. So this law is corollary of the law of statistical regularity, and this law is based on the psychological law of behavior, that is the behavior of a phenomenon on a large scale is generally stable. So these are the principle of the sampling method, or what do we call it as the principles of selecting the samples. Now we talk about sources of secondary data. So there are two sources, as we can see, of collecting the secondary data, that is published sources and unpublished sources. Published sources, from the word itself we understand that which are published somewhere and you collect the source of the data. And unpublished means which is not published but still you collect the data. So we can see the few published sources of collecting data is official publications of central government, publications of semi-government statistical organization, publications of research institutions, publication of commercial and financial institutions, reports of various committees and commissions appointed by the government, newspapers and periodicals, and international publications. So when we talk about official publications of central government, so I am going to give you students the examples of each one of them. So when we talk about official publications of central or state government, so in this case we talk about some of the publications by the Indian government, which are annual economic survey, documents of 5-year plans, India annual book. These all are the official publications of central government. Semi-government publications include municipalities, district boards, and others also publish reports in respect of birth, death, education, sanitation, and many other related fields. Reports of committees and commissions. I'm talking about the fifth point here. Reports of various committees and commissions here. They are required to inquire into specific issues and submit the report within stipulated time, and these reports become the source of secondary data. So one of the examples of this is Nariman Committee report or Pay Commission report. Then we talk about the third point, publication of research institutions. Various important research institutions are Indian Council of Agricultural Research, that is ICAR, Indian Statistical Institute, National Council of Educational Research and Training, NCERT. They publish the findings of their research, which is constant source of secondary data on the subjects concerned. Then we talk about, students, the publications of commercial and financial institutions, or even I can call it as publication of trade associations. So some big trade associations like Institute of Chartered Accountants, trade unions, etc. publish data collected through their statistical and research divisions. Newspapers and magazines, various, they publish, many social and economic aspects. Some of them are Economic Times, then Times of India, Financial Express, Outlook Money, Business Today. Then we talk about here international publications. So these reports are regularly published. The international reports are regularly published by the agencies like United Nations organizations, World Health Organization, International Monetary Fund. Presently, WHO has published in its publication regarding the coronavirus being declared as a pandemic. So that is also an international publication, a part of international publication. So these all are published sources. Next, we talk about unpublished source. So the statistical data needn't always be published. There are various sources of unpublished statistical material, such as the records maintained by private firms, business enterprises, scholars, research workers. So they may not like to release their data to any outside agency. So when data collected by someone is not published and is taken by other persons for the purpose of investigation, then such data is known as unpublished secondary data. Like, we can call about the reports prepared by the private investigation companies. So many investigations are of private nature and their findings are not published. So such unpublished data is usually meant for the use of members only. So these are the various types of sources of collecting secondary data, published and unpublished. So that's all for this session. Thank you so much.